We're better than you niggas. We make more money than you niggas. We got a better channel than y'all niggas. We get more views than y'all niggas. The only thing you guys got on us is you guys been on longer. But I guarantee you, next year, this time, we're gonna lap you, mother. Because you know what? Nobody works harder than us.
Nope.
Period.
You want to see someone's character, give them power, and then watch how they treat the less fortunate.
aba&preach versus FreshandFit. What started the feud and what came of it? This video is meant to summarize the entire conflict with a little of my own commentary sprinkled in. With this, you should get the gist of it and won't need to watch multiple videos, live streams, and podcasts. Before breaking down the timeline of events, let me just give a light summary of each group. FreshandFit are a pair of individuals who have a podcast that focus on male improvement, giving men advice on finances, fitness, dating, and women, teaching men how to become quote-unquote alphas, as well as teaching them how to become high-value men. aba&preach are a pair of individuals that primarily do commentary/reaction videos on whatever topic they feel like it, ranging from whatever's currently going on in the world to UK TV shows and viral videos. In some of their videos, they provide advice for young people, usually men, about having integrity and learning to value oneself. And with that, let's get into the conflict. A few months back, aba&preach were invited to the FreshandFit podcast to discuss a variety of topics. There were two podcasts that day. The day podcast, which just had 4 of them talking, and the nighttime or the after hour podcast, which didn't have preach, but had a handful of random women, which is the norm for the FreshandFit podcast. They also had conversations on a variety of topics that aba&preach would later upload videos commenting on. Abba expanding on the thoughts he had while he was with the ladies, and Preach adding in his own opinions on the topic since he wasn't there for the initial conversation. So that's 3 videos that were made on the FreshandFit podcast, and everything was fine. It was the 4th video that sparked the fire. The first 3 videos were rebuttals to the guests of the podcast. The 4th one was in response to Myron and Walter's argument. During the podcast, the 4 of them had a conversation about sex work and the idea of it being legalized. In aba&preach's video, they expanded on their original thoughts and further made the argument for legalizing sex work, while also clowning on Myron and Walter a bit.
How they look at these guys that are paying is different from what they're telling you in person, because they look at you as, okay, he's paying a need that I have, but I don't respect him. And for me, I don't want a bitch's pussy. I want her soul.
You ain't getting nobody's soul.
This man said her soul. Look at your face right now. You're looking at the camera like, what is he talking about? Whether they're paying with money or you're paying with your time, everyone's paying for sex.
Yeah.
Everyone pays for it. You pay with your time and attention. If I'm into dominatrix stuff, a random hookup is a waste of my time.
Straight up.
All that work to find a girl who's not into the stuff I'm into, why would I waste my time?
If you want specifics.
There's a lot of reasons why you should legalize it, considering it makes it safer for the workers. It brings tax revenue to the country, because this stuff is already happening. It happens in the DMs, it happens on the streets, it happens on websites. It's happening every day, right? Legalize it, make it safer for the workers, and also you make it so that the government gets its tax money, gets redistributed into the city, whatever.
If we're being honest, though aba&preach didn't take the 2 out of context, by only showing the audience the really goofy statements, they did make Myron and Walter look bad. AMP's video was my first exposure to the FreshandFit podcast, and I finished the video thinking they were corny. What they said was incredibly corny, but that wasn't all they said.
It's on the guy, which is why we said we don't knock it. We get a lot of guys do it, but if you want to truly get good with women and get that desire and see the better side of females, I tell guys, it's in your best interest to not pay for it. And then the other thing too, I personally, I disagree respectfully with you guys. I do think if the pro institution is legalized, it would change the dating landscape to a minor degree, not significantly. Yeah. We personally think it's going to make it better for men and for women too. It comes down to what you want. Every guy's different. Like some guys don't care. Some guys, they just want the box and they don't want to deal with the BS. And I get it. I'm not going to knock it, because real talk, dealing with women is a headache. I'm not going to lie.
And let's not forget that Myron and Walter run a business on coaching men on how to get and talk to women. It's probably in their best interest for it to not be legalized. They profit off of giving men advice. And the less people who need help, then the less of a profit they're going to make. aba&preach weren't intentionally trying to make Myron and Walter look bad. They covered the topic like they do all their other videos. So it wasn't really a hit piece on the FreshandFit podcast. Some people raised the question, why are they saying this stuff now? Why didn't they say it to their face? Well, they did. They made faces and everything.
Nigga, you're gonna tell me in my face. You're gonna tell me in my face that you just felt I don't want her pussy, I want her soul.
broadcasted on internet, and you gonna tell me that all these girls gonna have respect for
for me, character matters. When I make this content, it matters to believe in what I say. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw the live, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, if y'all just watched a bit more of the videos, you would know that's what we've always been about. Good.
Now it's kind of like, okay, now that I'm at this level, like women to me are like, how to put this? It's like a piece of candy. I could just go in the store and buy it. Now, with that being said, their game, they have no game because now.
And it's not uncommon for people to think about a moment or a conversation they had and think, I should have said this or done that. But in Myron and Walter's defense, aba&preach could have hit them up to let them know they were doing a video involving them, because it's not like the other videos where they're commenting on complete strangers. They know and have contact with Myron and Walter to a minor degree. They have met in person and talked. Try looking at it from their perspective. You think you're on good terms with someone, then they make a video that portrays you in an unflattering way out of nowhere. You can see how someone might take it personal, even if it wasn't intended to be taken that way. What followed is what I would say actually started the beef and escalated the situation drastically. Myron and Walter responded to aba&preach's video in the worst way possible.
Our channel's better than yours. Facts. We get more views than you. We've been on less than you. We work harder than y'all niggas. We cut our hair more than you niggas. Like, yo, if y'all want to like roast,
we get more girls than y'all niggas.
We get more girls than y'all niggas.
Free.
Like, if y'all really want to do this nigga Preach is married probably to a fucking beluga whale somewhere. And y'all niggas talking shit. I know you guys are not talking, bro. My man Abba looks like he got off a camel, hasn't cut his hair in years. Dusty as fuck.
Instead of making rebuttals to the argument, ignoring the video entirely, or hitting up A&P privately, they went for personal attacks. Most people would agree that attacking a man's wife that had nothing to do with the situation and his country of Haiti, which at the time was recently hit by an earthquake, was distasteful and going way too far. And they didn't just say it once, they doubled down and expanded on the insults.
I could tell you niggas stink from the fucking video I'm watching right now. Hey, and Preach, I guarantee your wife is probably ugly. I said it.
Yo,
you gave her a ring pop and you licked her at your fucking wedding.
We should fly her up, bro.
Weirdo.
Hey, yo, we should fly her up.
Guarantee her. Flew out. You may kiss the bride. This dumbass nigga. I love you. I love you.
At this point, the conversation about sex work has been completely thrown out the window and has now become about character. Myron and Walter didn't just make personal attacks. They also issued a challenge to aba&preach.
If y'all want to talk shit, come back in the studio. We'll talk about it. Or we could box about it too. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Come back to Miami. Let's box it out. Talk it out too. How about that? We're here waiting.
And our people y'all niggas up too. If we really want to talk about that. You guys want to fucking box? I'll box both you motherfuckers too. Fuck out of here, man.
To put on some boxing gloves and to fight it out. And for his wife and country, Preach accepted the challenge. Win or lose, he wanted to fight them both.
And later on in the video, you're saying that you want to box with me. Sort of happened that I'm going to be in the U.S. next week. You want to fucking do this shit? Let's go. Both of you. Now you talk shit about my wife and you talk shit about my country. Old bitch said that he was about to send me on a boat to my country, to Haiti. Yeah? Cool.
You want to set up the boxing match?
Let's go!
Okay, we can set it up.
Both of you bitches!
Now, there isn't enough screenshots available to get a full story about what happened behind the scenes, but from what we can see, Abba reached out to them to set up the fight, but Myron and Walter didn't want to fight for free. Abba offered $20K, but they wanted more. It is not a good look to issue a challenge, then when the person accepts, to add a paywall. With A&P pointing out some of the hypocrisy of FreshandFit,
is you come to find out that Myron Gaines himself, right, the so-called pickup artist, the master, has his own seeking arrangements account. This man's out here talking about don't pay for box, don't pay for box. He's on a website for sugar daddies and sugar babies. Then you come to find out this man's talking about, listen, we want burning desire from ladies. Ain't that what they say? Right? You want to get their best, so you got to earn it. Come to find out, this man's telling girls in the DMs that if they want to come on the platform, they have to fuck, and if they don't, he gets upset about it and he gets all pissy. Oh, you fucked all my other boys. You won't fuck me, then you can't get on the platform. So wait, you want to bang a girl who just wants to come on the platform for clout, and you think that's burning desire?
It's like if a chick doesn't respect me, I don't even want to mess with her. So for me, the way I get her is more important than actually getting her. So if a girl's on some BS, but I know I can get laid, I'll still kick her to the curb because I'm getting her under pretenses that I don't necessarily don't align with my belief system. They're not congruent to my belief system.
A lot of the fans of the podcast started to unsubscribe from the channel. Within a few hours, FreshandFit put out an apology to their community page. It read, "We apologize to our supporters. From this point moving forward, we are not going to engage in beef. We are here to help you guys navigate women, fitness, and finances, not drama. We are going to keep giving you guys the content you subscribe for. We apologize for deviating, but we are back on track. Men are already getting attacked enough in the space, and we are not going to contribute to it. Best of luck to A&P in their future endeavors." Most people took this as a non-apology. Instead of apologizing to aba&preach, Preach and his wife especially, they apologized to the supporters. That's like slapping someone in front of a crowd, and then when the crowd gasps, you say, "I'm sorry you all had to see that." It gives the impression that they aren't sorry for what they said, but are sorry that their fans are upset. So they wanted to try to appease their fan base by giving an apology, but not really. The apology post is now deleted. Later that night on their podcast, they addressed the situation with a slightly more direct apology.
On this podcast, we talk about accountability, okay?
Yeah.
And we are not above taking accountability. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, we made a mistake, okay? It is not cool to insult a man's country and or wife live on air. We should have kept the disagreement on the topic and not the people.
Yep.
Okay? Smart people discuss ideas, stupid people discuss people. And we made a mistake, all right? So with that said, we apologize, okay, for talking about his wife, his country, and making ad hominem attacks on them. They're fellow YouTubers. If we have disagreements, we're going to have disagreements, but the way we went about it was not right, okay?
Yeah.
So we got to hold ourselves accountable as well. And from this point forward, we're burying the hatchet. We wish the best to aba&preach.
Yeah, the best, man.
We're going to keep making content, giving you guys what you want, and we're going to stay away from the drama.
That being said, the boxing, you got our number. Hit us up on the side. You know where we're at. We're in Miami, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Some people felt this apology was sufficient, while others didn't. I feel that if you're going to disrespect someone, the apology should be equal or louder than the disrespect. The apology to me felt quick and dismissive. The video was nearly 3 hours long, and less than a minute was dedicated to the apology. It just didn't seem sincere. The apology ended with them saying that they were still willing to set up the boxing match. People felt that if you issued the challenge, then as a man, you should follow through on your word. With Preach set to be in America the following week, people wanted to see the conclusion to the saga. The next couple of days were terrible for the Fresh and Fit podcast in terms of image and branding. After Preach affirmed that he still wants to fight, Walter uploads a video of himself buying his first gun. The situation could have been taken two ways. Either he was so worried about Preach that he got a gun for protection, or he planned to buy the gun prior but lacked the self-awareness to realize the optics of the situation look abysmal. Myron and Walter were already losing subscribers, but now were actively telling people to leave in the comments. People who were saying they were disappointed in them or wanted them to own up to the situation instead of pretending like it wasn't happening. While Walter was discouraging people from the channel, Myron was suffering from his own problems. One of the girls he was with claimed to be pregnant and stated that Myron didn't want custody of his kid.
Wow. When I told him that I was shaky about abortion, that I had just moved to Miami, that I don't have any family support, that I'm here by myself, and that I kind of was shaky, I just really didn't, the abortion thing wasn't vibing with me. He kind of got upset. He told me that a baby would ruin both of our lives. He told me that he would sign away his parental rights. He told me that
wait, sorry. Whoa. Roll that back. I'm sorry. Time out. You just dropped some other bomb right there. So he said if you end up keeping the baby, he's willing to sign away his parental rights. Did I hear this correctly? Like to sign away his parental rights so that he cannot claim this child as his own? What?
Another girl was putting him on blast for being a bit of a Weinstein, then doxing her afterwards. We'll come back to this later. Their former photographer was speaking up against them. A past associate broke down their door looking for a fight. Some people assumed that aba&preach sent him. They did not.
Come on in, man. Come on in. You got a gun? Come on in, bro. I'm afraid of a gun, nigga. Okay. Don't come in.
Kara, come. Yo,
So,
Kara.
yeah. He's here.
Kara.
Don't do it, bro. What's up? Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
As the saying goes, when it rains, it pours. With everything piling up, they eventually addressed all the rumors and allegations against them. The video was 5 hours long. You see why I made this video? You're welcome. When it came to aba&preach, they acknowledged that their response to the situation was inappropriate and that they shouldn't have done it. And that even though it doesn't excuse their actions, they felt betrayed.
We just felt betrayed because why didn't you call us, man? Or why didn't you at least let us know, hey, man, we're going to do this thing here. Is it cool if we run it by you, whatever? Like, they didn't call us. So that's why we That's why we reacted the way that we did. Was it justified? No. Hell no. We shouldn't have made fun of Preach's wife. We shouldn't have made ad hominem attacks. No. Yeah. The reason why we had that reaction was because we felt betrayed when they made that video that made us look kind of stupid.
In the comments and in the description of their video, they have a timestamp that states that they have receipts showing that they reached out to aba&preach after the video was made on them, but they never show anything proving this. Walter starts looking, then he just stops.
I think that's what the super chat was asking, if we sent them a message after they made the hit piece on us about capping.
Earlier, I mentioned that Myron was being a bit of a Weinstein and doxed someone. In their video, a lot of time was allocated to responding to the allegation. I'm covering this topic since it was one of the most damning pieces of evidence that Abba brought up against Myron in terms of hypocrisy. Myron talks about wanting women to respect him, and that how you get a girl is important. That's part of why he thinks men shouldn't pay for sex.
Right? Then he's talking to women. He says, you want to get on this podcast? Well, we can only do it if you fuck. Is that how you conduct your business? Right? How are you giving people business lessons, but you shit where you work? Does anyone find it funny that this man's bad business practices are coming out to bite his business in the ass, and he's giving you guys all the business advice? There's an incongruence here that I find hilarious. How is it a good business strategy to go message a random woman and say, you want to get on this podcast? I would love to have you on. Let's collaborate. She's like, okay, sure. And you're like, are you single? Because I only work with people I'm banging. Is that a good business practice? Is that burning desire that you mentioned it?
So for me, the way I get her is more important than actually getting her. So if a girl's on some BS, but I know I can get laid, I'll still kick her to the curb because I'm getting her under pretenses that I don't necessarily don't align with my belief system.
It goes like this. Myron reaches out to a person by the name of Anna Quinn Fitness for a collab. She agrees. Myron tells her that to be on the show, she has to date him.
I was only thinking we were going to do some kind of fitness related content collab. And he said, no problem. I collab directly with girls I date. No pressure though. And I was like, so if we aren't dating, you don't want to collab.
So dating is much different than bang me or else you come on the show. You know what I'm saying? Which is what she was trying to insinuate, because in her video she says, oh, Myron bribes girls to get on the show to have she goes, bribing women with collaboration for sex is what she's saying. He's mad because I told him I wouldn't sleep with him for content. He called a bitch and a bimbo on his story because I wouldn't sleep with him. No. I said we're gonna date. You said no. I kept it moving. Big difference, Anna.
Leveraging a collab for a date isn't as bad as leveraging it for sex, but it's still pretty bad. And he knows it's not right, otherwise he wouldn't see the situation as him getting exposed. Anna declines the offer and thinks that it's pretty scummy and an abuse of power, which it is. Upset by what transpired, she tells her Instagram followers the situation without using Myron's name, and they all think he's being a creep. She messages Myron again to tell him that he's a bad influence on men and that others find his actions creepy. She also tells him that he's a bad representation of his business and that she'll let others know what he does. Myron takes this as a threat.
Earlier that she did not threaten my business and my podcast. I'm going to say that one more time.
She did.
You're a terrible representation of your podcast and your business, and I'll happily put you on blast.
What does that translate to? Oh, exposing somebody.
Yes.
On blast.
Yes. Okay? She literally, right there in that sentence in itself, she's saying she's going to expose me.
Because she was going to tell people what he does, putting his name out there, he decided to put her name out there as payback.
What's her Instagram again? It goes something like
Anna Quinn Fitness.
Oh,
there you go. Anna Quinn Fitness. Y'all want to roast her? I don't care.
I thought women wanted honesty. I thought women wanted the truth from up front.
I was like, we're gonna smash. She didn't like that. She tried to be like, oh well, that's your asshole move. Okay, you want me to lie to you and then like try to be on this?
Like I've seen this. You probably should have finessed her. You would have finessed her. You've been good.
Someone put her Instagram in the chat.
Can we see her Instagram real quick?
It might have been me.
Oh, damn!
Oh, you want to pull it up?
I would love to see her Instagram. Be honest with you.
I don't even want to give her that.
I thought it was FreshandFit.
You know what? Because I'm gonna do a privacy complaint. That's what.
We don't want no part of
that. She's gonna do a privacy complaint.
Damn it.
When you have a following, you can't control the actions of all your followers. But that was a call to arms. The harassment she got afterwards is 100% on them. Because of them, young people are following their example and are carrying themselves in a way that can damage their future.
Brother, you DM'd her yourself.
Yeah, bro, because I know what that podcast means. It's done so much for my life.
But that's not my point. That's not my point. You understand that there's something unethical about taking a person's name and their thing and sending it to your fans so they can go harass the person?
That is 100% unethical. I can't lie about that.
Right. And I'm saying, and you participate in that. Don't you see how that reflects poorly on you as well?
It doesn't.
You went in and you sent her a foul message, my friend.
It does. I did because I had to, bro. I had to defend.
You had to send her a foul message? So you're going to ride with them no matter what because they helped you out?
I'm loyal, Apple.
It's sad, and one day, I promise you, bro, you're going to look back on this moment and realize that you sending that DM and then you coming on this podcast afterwards to defend that shit is crazy. You also need to have some accountability for what you did, brother. Nobody made you go do that. You did. And you owe that woman an apology because what you said was fucking foul.
Facts. Just after all that, like, what do you got to say, man? No apology whatsoever.
Hell nah, bro. I stand on my word, bro. I ain't no bitch. The fuck?
Myron was upset because he was trying to get a date for a collab, and Anna Quinn took it as sex for a collab. But by the end of it, he still ends up saying that he wants sex for it.
Yes, did I approach her with the collab situation and then dating? Yes, but that doesn't mean like, bang me or else we're going to come on the show. I said that at the end when I was already frustrated with her. Because at this point, I'm frustrated. Was this a proper response? No, I shouldn't have said this. But this is me pretty much saying, I'm not talking to you anymore unless we smash. See the difference here, guys?
So whether it started with the offer or ended with it, it shows that Myron is willing to leverage his status for dates and sex. And I have to take a brief moment to call out Walter's dumb response to the situation.
Okay, let's continue on.
So wait, when does hitting on a woman become a crime?
Now, the objection isn't hitting on women. The objection is the method he uses to get his dates. And if you don't see that or the hypocrisy that comes from it, that's incredibly sad.
So for me, the way I get her is more important than actually getting her.
Before the drama had started, the Fresh and Fit podcast had just hit 430,000 subscribers. At the time of making this video, their numbers have dropped down to 385, a pretty hefty chunk. aba&preach have moved on to making their usual brand of content. They did try to get the boxing match set up, but it's almost definitely not going to happen now. And the Fresh and Fit podcast has gone back to doing their thing. This altercation didn't kill the channel, but it did set it back. Within a year or so, the channel will be back to 430 or even more. Myron and Walter have a very dedicated fan base who donate money to them on live streams, super chats, and Patreon. They're going to be just fine. Do I think the things they have said and the way they conduct their business is wrong? Yes. Do I think they should be deplatformed for it? No. I think the masses should be made aware of the kind of people they are dealing with and be free to make their own decisions. Hopefully, Myron and Walter learn from the situation and better themselves as individuals. Don't treat violence like a game, especially when you're shaping the minds of young men. If you're choosing to set yourself up as a role model, then lead by example. Anyways, that's all I have to say on the topic. Everyone should have a good understanding of what transpired. Special shout out to my patron Ohazarus. Link to my Patreon is in the description if you'd like to support the channel. Or just subscribe and leave a like. That works too. With that being said, until next time.